Hey, look what we have found. A big sound in a small town. Far away from the bright lights. They're making music every night. Discover what is all around. A big sound. A big sound. In a small town. Big sound, small town. A really big sound. Big sound, small town.
You're listening to Big Sound Small Town with Sandy Carlton.
There's a long black train coming down the line. It'll steal your soul as it slowly passes by. Black smoke rolling, rattling the ground. I hear that train a-blowing, that lonesome whistle sound. Hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey.
Guitar strap across the back and a pocket full of real fine smoke. Standing on the corner of the street downtown, strumming on every note. Shady man, he might be, with a crooked smile, pearly white teeth, riding on that long black railroad train. Hey, 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 you best stay away off the devil's train.
Smell that smoke from every toe that train draws in its mouth. Cloud of sin comes from within, spreads wide as it moves about. That devil comes a-calling, him and his old hound. If you hear that train a-coming, boys, you better leave town. Hey, hey, hey. Better watch out. That devil's train. I'm Jacob Trammell. I'm from Western North Carolina originally. Right now I'm living in South Georgia, down in Columbus, Georgia, playing with Trey Guthrie and Dirt Road Republic. I play lead guitar for them. I'm in the process of moving to North Carolina. I have my own studio, and I'm the producer and engineer there. We produce music for Luke Kaiser, Trey Guthrie and Dirt Road Republic, couple other bands around the area that we work with. So we do a lot of local work and looking to branch out.
All right, that's pretty good. Well, I do know I will put this plug in for him while he's here. So I did work with this guy, and he and I both listened to some recorded stuff, and neither one of us could hear it. Okay, I'm talking about Luke Kaiser. So Luke's here too today with us. So Luke and I, we heard the demos. You know, we heard everything, and yeah, we didn't notice anything strange at the time. So Luke's going up the road. He calls me. He says, "Sandy, there's a click track on this thing." no, there ain't no click track on that thing. He said, no, I think there is. I said, no. I said, did you hear one when you did it? No. I said, I didn't either. And we had the same stuff. So, long story short, Jacob Trammell here has magic ears. He's the man that found it. And not only that, I still think that it was possibly a guitar pick hitting a string at a consistent sound. You know, I'm still convinced that he was not right. So what did he do? He separated the dadgum tracks and sent it basically the click track and said, see, it's here. I mean, he didn't do that, but he did it, and Luke sent it to me. But it was like, no, man, I'm right. And guess what? So I attest that you may want to go to his studio because the man has some quality ears.
Cloudy River Studios, if you're looking to link up Cloudy River Studios. I don't have a Facebook page yet, but you can find me on Facebook, Jacob Trammell.
Yeah, well, let's. I've also heard the stuff that you've done for Luke, and it is real good quality stuff. You know.
Thank you. That's actually my first EP that I've ever produced. So
well,
I'm actually kind of proud of it. It turned out really well for the amount of work. We put in a lot of work on that. It took about 8 months.
Let me ask you another question. Did he overdrive your compressors?
That raise.
You got the answers. Yeah, I know he did. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I mean,
I had a very hard time with the vocals because his voice is soft at times, and then it's sharp at times.
It is, and when it is, it's really powerful. It comes through. I sit and watch the meter peg, even though there was a compressor and a limiter on that thing. I sit there and watch the thing.
It took me mixing Luke's EP. The vocals took me the longest.
Yeah, I'm sure.
By far, because I'd get them sounding really good. I'd have the track soloed, get them sounding really good, and I'm like, yeah, man, these sound great. And then I'd put it in the mix, and I'd be like, it's still not poked out there enough, you know, it's still blending too much. And then I'd go in and fix something else, and it'd be like, oh, man, that's too much. So
yeah, I mean,
there's a fine line.
I can see it because it's the same way when you play with him live, too. I'm standing there, and we've got the groove going. I know where we're going. Everything's good. Then he hits one of those powerful things, and I'm like, whoa.
It comes from his toes.
It does, you know, and it's like, you know, yeah. So I know that job had to be hard.
Yeah, it was a little challenging.
Because he can be so quiet, but then he can be so daggum loud.
The music part of it, it fairly went pretty easy,
right,
with all the digital stuff now.
Yeah.
You know? And that EP I actually still recorded with my Super Reverb, my amp. I mic'd the amp up, so
right,
you still got the real amp in
right,
that one. But anything coming up here in the future that I'm working on, I'm kind of transitioning more to the digital stuff because it's a whole lot easier to mix.
It's a lot easier to mix.
It sounds better without how much, you know, putting any extra work into it. So I think I'm slowly transitioning to that.
Well, you know, I think that's the...
You can't substitute a good acoustic instrument, though. You need to mic that up.
You can't. There's a lot of things that you can't, but then, there again, the listening public don't have the ears that you have. They probably don't have the ears that Luke and I have. So they can't really, and even a lot of musicians can't distinguish. We can sit here, and I can play a Martin, and you can play your Luna over there. They won't know the difference.
I won't know the difference.
You know, and if you ask them to pick, they might even pick. You know, I mean, because people's ears are.
Well, you know, that's something I've told a lot of other guitar players that I work with. You know, you hear them say, "Well, man, I want to get that amp because I want that sound," and you can get that to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But you can't replicate the fingers, and that's where the tone comes.
Yeah,
from.
it is.
That's where the sound comes from. You can walk up. You know, name your favorite guitar player,
sure,
or bass player, anything.
Right.
Walk up to their specific setup on that stage, and it won't sound like them.
No,
you play it.
No, but then sometimes it'll sound really good, even though
sound good.
Yeah,
it'll sound good, but it won't.
True, it won't.
You can't match it.
No, you can't.
Exactly.
You can't. No, sitting in these chairs where you're at right now, Trey Hensley. Do you know who Trey is?
I listened to the interview you did.
Trey. I saw him in here. You can play those notes, but you can't play them like he does.
Right.
I mean, you know, that's just crazy. you know. So I guess you come from a long line of musicians?
Yes, sir, I do. Pretty much everybody in my family are musicians. My uncle, my mom, dad, my sister, all the way down through the cousins, even extended cousins. You see, back home, one of my cousins, she had twins. They're probably 10, maybe 12 years old now, and both of them are musicians.
Yeah,
so it runs in the blood in my family deep.
Yeah,
and I'm really excited. In the last couple of years, actually through Ancestry,
right.
I found one of my long lost cousins down in Myrtle Beach, Doug and Philip Trammell.
Sure.
They're Trammells too. It's kind of weird that
they
it's
are
that close, and I've never met them, but meet up with them, and now we're working together too musically, and it's really cool.
And what's really cool
cool moment.
is I've worked with Doug too, which
cool.
I mean that's a big, life can be big and life can be small, and there it is,
right.
and Doug, when he was up here, was a legendary bass player, upright bass player. Had a pretty cool deal. He played with a guy, Colonel White. They had a early, I guess you would call it an early acoustic jazz almost type thing. It was really cool. Wow. They played at a real famous place around here, Green Acres. Also, I played the Grand Ole Opry with Doug.
Wow.
So
that's a dream for me right there. I'd love to be on that stage.
Yeah. Yeah, there's better stages, trust me. But it's Doug's a fine musician. Doug is also, I do know one time there's an exhibit out here of Mark O'Connor playing fiddle. I also saw Doug playing with Mark O'Connor over at Gardner Webb one time.
Wow.
So Doug lives at Myrtle Beach now and plays jazz for the most part, and he's still cool. In fact, he's the one who turned me on to Luke.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys got linked up.
So,
I'm glad you guys, because you guys have been doing some shows together here locally too.
Yeah, we did one of the actually coolest stories shows that I've been a part of in a long time. I will tell you this: if you ever see a person with a cornhole shirt on that is talking about some cornhole team or something, do not play cornhole with them. All of the bags go in the hole every time. Unless someone gets drunk or trips, that's the only way anybody wins. So do not get involved. So, we had a great time at that job. That was, that's a pretty cool job.
Yeah, and we got one coming up.
Sure.
The 3 of us in a couple weeks.
Yeah, we do. Which shall be fun.
I'm looking forward to it.
November 18th.
Yeah, let's put that out there.
Farms.
Yeah.
November 18th.
Yep. So
time it starts at 5. The pig's ready at 6.
Yeah.
And we'll be ready somewhere after the pigs, right?
That's right.
So yeah, everybody should be good and ready to go by the time we're ready to play. So that always helps too. Possibly it won't be this cold.
Yeah, I hope not too. We got 2 shows. I'm playing tomorrow night and Saturday night in Salisbury at the Rowan County Fair.
Oh, that's going to be outside.
So yeah, Trey Guthrie and Dirt Road Republic. We're there from 6 to 8 the next 2 nights. So they're having like this hot air balloon festival, some kind of
deal. Yeah. We
got to do Atlanta Motor Speedway back a couple months ago. That was really
that
cool.
Would be really cool.
We got to play in Victory Lane at Atlanta Motor Speedway, so that was a lot of fun. A lot of new opportunities this year. This year's been a new opportunity year for me.
Sure.
Lots of things changing for the good.
Yeah, it's for the good. Yeah.
And I'm looking to see what's out there next.
How did you and Luke get together?
So, well, back in college, thank God I quit smoking cigarettes. But I was smoking cigarettes when I was a freshman in college, and I'd stepped out back of the dorm in the parking lot there and lit up a cigarette, and I saw this group of guys standing over there leaned up against an old Toyota pickup. I'm talking this Toyota pickup looked rough. Had some camo fender flares on it. It was rough. But anyway, I said, I bet them a couple good old boys. So I walked over there and introduced myself, started talking. Next thing you know, we're hanging out every day, you know, become friends. And then we ended up getting an apartment together and living together for the next, 4 or 5 years. And we did a lot of class skipping, a lot of music writing, and a lot of liquor drinking.
And where would this event been taking place at?
This was at NC State in Raleigh, North Carolina. We were there from, 11 to 16.
Yeah.
So that was...
North Carolina State is near and dear to me. I have a grandson that's graduated from there. I had a daughter who graduated from there. Mary Beth, who you met earlier, was a Park Scholar there.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah, she went for free. Yeah, so...
Still paying for mine.
yeah, I know. Yeah, I do.
Student loan just started back up.
Yeah. That was short-lived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, hey, you gotta pay for what you do. I'm a firm believer in that.
Well, that's I mean, college is a great place to become a musician. I mean, it really is, to work out your stuff. You're young. Yeah, it's just great.
It is. The thing about college that I didn't realize at the time is you're going to meet so many different people.
Yeah.
That, well, those relationships will carry a lifetime. You know, you have friends in high school, and I still see a couple of my friends from high school, but for the most part, I don't really see or talk to anybody anymore from my graduating class or, you know, my high school in general. But my college friends, we've kept that.
Well, I'll say you
we
kind of
became adults together.
What you do, you do when you get to live together. I mean, it's not like you go home each day, like, you know.
Together.
Yeah. I mean, you do.
A few years.
Yeah, I agree. It's a chance to. Well, you're learning about. Well, you learn a little bit about school, but you learn a whole lot about the world.
Just about life in general.
I see people always whining, you don't need to go to college. Well, you don't. But there's a lot of stuff to be gained from going to college. I mean, sure, you can make a good living without going to college, and I applaud those that do, but don't ever need an engineer or don't ever need a doctor, you know, because, you know, they went to college, you know.
That's right.
So I mean, so and even if you don't work in the field, you can grow so much more than you could grow staying in your hometown. Right. I mean, the world becomes larger.
Right. And, you know, those connections, it's crazy how they've played out. Not necessarily connections, but just friendships that you made in college. That it's kind of crazy where all those people go, and then you end up meeting up with them down the road again.
I agree.
You know, that's
and particularly musically. I mean, that happens. That happens a lot. I mean, there's a whole about half of the music scene in Asheville all graduated from Appalachian, or all went to Appalachian, you know, and it's like, so, I mean, you know, it's funny. That stuff just goes on and on.
And we had an opportunity, you know, college, there is a lot of downtime in college.
There is.
You know, you're at home. We wrote quite a few songs during that time.
Is that the time y'all both started writing, really?
We both started. Luke, when I first met him, Luke was interested in music, but he hadn't really developed that skill yet.
Right.
So when we got together and started playing a lot together, it blossomed for him.
Right. Yeah.
Majorly. And
it helps to have a voice like that.
Yeah. His interest in the instrument.
Right.
And the guitar grew when he started.
Well, I've even noticed the difference from the first time I played with him to the last time. I mean, he's growing rapidly at it.
Continually.
Yeah. Which is good.
You know, that was a lot of fun. I was growing, and still am. I was growing significantly.
You always do.
Significantly at the time, too, as a writer and a musician. And that set me up today, I think, to be a better writer alone.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Luke and I learned to write together. And there's certain things that he brought up and brought to the table that I was like, oh, wow, I didn't think about it that way.
Sure.
And now when I'm writing, I'm able to change that mindset, Go to a different mindset. Look at it a different way to
Sure.
come up with whatever I'm writing.
And I guess too, the two of y'all are comfortable with co-writes because, that's something that you kind of hones your abilities together, which puts you comfortable with co-writes, because a lot of people aren't, and it's hard for them to co-write, or they don't want to co-write. And that in itself is kind of a hard thing. I mean, it's as hard as writing a song.
Right.
Unless you live in Nashville, then six people get together, and then how much of it is really?
We had a first experience here a couple months ago. Something I've never been a part of before. We wrote an entire song over text message.
Oh, yeah, you can do that these days.
That was really cool. I was at work on my tractor, and Luke I think he was at work too, and I'd get a little piece and I'd send it to him. You know, and then he'd be like, "Oh yeah, well what about this?" And then an hour or so goes by and the song's written. Yeah. And hopefully you'll get to hear that today.
Oh, good. Well, I learned to do that through Skype during COVID.
Okay.
Which was totally new to me. It was like, oh, so we can sit here and sit across from each other and even drink beer. So. Exactly. So I've learned to live with the new technology.
It's changed things majorly.
You know what's going to knock us out as songwriters, right? I'm going to tell you a story.
AI.
I wrote a song, pretty good song. I liked it a lot, and I gave the idea to ChatGPT, and in about 6 minutes, it came back with as good a song as I'd written. I mean, I needed to adjust it a bit, but
the bones were there.
But the bones were there. I mean, I could take just an idea I had to flesh out and put it in there, let it do it. Then I could do like I do my own songs. I could edit what it sent me.
I think music is going to eventually, it's going to be like beer. You're going to have the craft beer, the handmade beer.
True.
And then you're going to have the mass-produced beer, Anheuser-Busch.
But kind of in the way music's always been that way. We'll take country music. Do you realize how much country music has changed?
Right.
I mean.
From George Jones.
Yes.
And those guys.
Yeah, to what it is now. Yeah, I mean, some of the stuff these days, everybody whines, but everybody whines about every generation before that. People like the music they grew up on.
That's right.
So when something new comes along, it's like, it can't be as good. Well, sometimes it is.
I'm partial to 90s country.
Well, yeah.
I'm an Alan Jackson fan.
Well, I'm a George Jones fan. So see,
okay.
But it's all cool. And I actually, this is funny too. So Luke likes to do some of the modern country. I mean, he does a real good Chris Stapleton. Now, I'm going to tell a funny story again. So Luke and I are playing, and I'd never heard this from him before. So this guy wants us to play Tennessee Whiskey. He's got some bucks, throwing them in there, And Luke goes, I don't do that song good, And I'm thinking, oh, man, that's a liar. He does all them things. Well, guess what? He did do it good, but it ain't the best one he did. But you know what? He did it. And that's the whole, he did it. The man dropped his money in there, wanted to hear it. And it was like, he also did another song that he had to look the words up, But that's the spirit of music right there, It don't have to be perfect.
No.
I've learned that from working for tips. If you can get close, people really applaud the effort. But for people out here listening, I will tell you this. Don't ever go to a musician and ask him, can he play Happy Birthday to your friend and all, if you don't drop money in the bucket before you ask.
Or Freebird.
Or Freebird. And if you're asking for Freebird.
You give them 2 free birds.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, also consider if it's 2 musicians, they're not going to do Freebird. They're just not going to do it. And if they do, you're going to be badly disappointed, I mean, you got to pick what you want them to do. If it's a full band and you got $100 bill, you might get them to do Freebird, but you might not. Probably get them to do Wagon Wheel, though.
Wagon Wheel? I'll do Wagon Wheel for $100.
Yeah, for $100.
I'll do Wagon Wheel for $50.
Yeah. My beef is, with people when they're there. If you want the band to do something,
Pay for it.
pay for it. Give it,
That's something. That's another thing. Little topic. When musicians go to venues don't understand what the musicians went through to get there.
No, they don't.
They just see the musician there with an instrument.
Sure.
And we've had a lot of trouble with Trey Guthrie. All of our music is original. We
Sure.
got
Oh, yeah.
4 hours worth of music that we have written.
Right.
We've spent that time writing the music,
Right.
writing the lyrics, making sure they're tight. And then we show up and they expect to pay us the same amount as they do the next cover
Sure.
band down the street.
Yeah. Actually, they probably played a cover band more, truth be known.
They do.
Here's the pecking order.
And they compare us to the cover band.
Right.
Well, that cover band stayed up there and didn't take no breaks for 4 hours
Right.
and this, that, and the other. Okay. Well, that's fine. We did 2 hour-and-a-half sets
Right.
of completely original
Sure.
music.
Sure.
Oh,
that's
it makes it really hard for the original artist
Oh, it's hard. It's really hard.
to get into any of these venues anymore.
It
They'd
is.
rather have a DJ
Sure.
or a cover band, the same cover band they had last week.
Well, this is the way I've learned: wedding band, tribute band, cover band, original music band. That's the pecking
That's the
order.
order.
And it's the pay order.
And you have to almost disguise yourself as one of the other tiers. If you're
You
an
do.
original
You do.
artist,
You do.
You have to disguise yourself
You
as
do.
one of those upper tiers just to get in the door.
Yeah. I mean,
That makes it even harder to get some kind of record deal or
Oh, it
anything
is.
like that out there because you can't get anybody to let you play.
right. Oh, it's come down to pretty much luck, persistence, but luck.
Money.
Money
You
too.
can buy your way in. There's a lot of places, especially down around Atlanta. You can the Masquerade.
Sure, yeah.
I'm sure you've heard of the
Yeah.
Masquerade in Atlanta.
You got
They'll
to
let
pay.
they'll let you play there, but you have to sell tickets.
Sure.
And if you don't sell X number of tickets, you don't get paid.
Rooster in Gastonia. He's been trying that. And
If you don't have a following,
okay, this is my belief on this. Okay, when a club owner asked me, "Do you have a following?" I said, "Do you have a following? Is your club full?"
that's a good question.
And then here's the deal. Well, my job is to entertain your crowd, not me to bring yours. If I entertain your crowd, you'll get a bigger crowd.
That's exactly right.
It's not my job to bring your crowd. Your job is to have a crowd. Mine's to come and play.
I like that. I'm going to remember that.
Yeah, you need to remember that because that's my comeback when they say, "Now you got a crowd that you bring." I said, "That's not my job." You should be. If you're not trying to create your own crowd, you're not going to have one, brother. Right. And here's this other thing I ask them: do you advertise your shows, or do you just put it out? Do you expect us to advertise it? Because we will, but we'll only advertise as much as you're willing to put in yourself. Right. If you're not going to put it up on Facebook or on a marquee somewhere,
give me a radio,
then it's like
commercial.
You can't put it all on us. You're already not paying us ever what we're worth, so you can't expect us to do it all.
No.
I mean, we're selling beer for you already,
absolutely,
and tipping you and getting your waitresses tipped. If you're a good band, you're getting. But they got to do some work themselves. Just not make us beg to play.
That's right. I mean, as a musician today, it seems like you have to do so much more just to get that $200.
Yeah, exactly.
Saturday night,
exactly. I mean, you do because it's not like you're to the point where well, no, I can't hire an agent to get me in somewhere that I'll still just clear. I might clear $250 instead of the $200 if I pay an agent. But I'm still not getting rich. I might get to play more places with an agent, but there again, that's upping your game, And do I want to play that much? I mean, you got an agent Monday night.
Well, and they may not always be looking out for your best.
They're not.
They're looking out.
I would tell you they're not.
How many venues can I get you
Sure.
into? Because they're making a percentage
Sure,
off of you.
they are.
So,
oh yeah,
it's a business for them too.
It's a nasty business any way you cut it. Music business is a nasty business.
And that's why I've mainly been doing it all on my own. I do my own recording.
Sure.
I do, my own booking. I do my own merch stuff now.
Yep.
Everything.
Well, merch is big. I'm going to tell you that too. If you really want to make some extra, if you want to really make it your time, merch is big.
That's it. That's straight money for a musician right there.
Also, but you got to be careful. I've known bands that had some merch that sucked. It's like, oh, I don't want to buy that. Man, that thing's ugly as hell.
Right.
I don't want to drop $25 on a T-shirt. Know. So there again, you got to be wise with your decisions.
With Dirt Road Republic, that's basically my experience with merch.
Right.
I tried to expand our merch beyond what you would normally see at a band's merch table.
Right.
Like Dirt Road Republic. And now Luke has one too. I have a soap line.
Yeah.
They
sure.
have handmade goat milk soap
yeah.
that's official to
sure.
the band.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something you don't normally see when you walk up to a band's merch table.
Also, it's probably a high profit, small cost, though. It is. People...
You're getting the ladies, you're
right.
getting the...
And what are you getting for that compared to... You're not getting $25 for that like a shirt.
Or a keychain.
Right, because you're getting something, but you're not having to ask your people to pay $25, $50, and they're taking home something that is original to you, to
right.
your band, to your outfit.
Right.
You're not taking home the same sticker or whatever,
We try to, diversify merchandise just the same way as we try to diversify the music.
Sure.
You want to have, like on Luke's EP he just released, there's anything from a hardcore blues song to a rock song.
It is.
To a nice jazzy style ballad.
He still has one. I think he should do reggae style, but that's
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Fire one up. That probably should be a reggae song. But,
yeah, exactly.
But it lends itself to that. I mean,
he's gathering ears from all different types.
Sure,
of
he is.
That may not like one of the other two songs, but there's one on there they do.
And record companies hate that stuff, though, right? They can't pigeonhole him. They can't put him in.
They can't classify.
Can't classify.
Are you blues? Are you rock? Are you easy listening? Or what?
Yeah, I mean, really, they hate record companies. Like, I don't really know how to market him. Well, just go ahead and do it. Learn. I don't. I see things differently, as you can already tell, than most people. And it's like, it can't always be the artist, because you don't have a trouble creating an artist if you got this Sugarland. Do y'all know who Sugarland? I played jobs with Sugarland, but it wasn't the two of them originally. It was three of them. And the girl was heavy, very heavy, the other singer. And she could sing as good as Jennifer Nettles, maybe better. Mm. But guess what? When the deal was done, she was gone. And that, they can mold stuff like that, so why can't they mold other stuff?
Well, indie singer-songwriters is growing. Like, doing it yourself.
It is.
Songwriter,
sure.
That part of the music industry is growing.
Of course.
Where you can like Luke and go out with an acoustic guitar and draw a crowd consistently on.
I use a local band here in town, Dirty Grass Soul. Dirty Grass Soul got a really good following. They know they're not going to get rich, but they're also doing it for a living, Well, they farm some too, but,
Tyler Childers and Sturgill and those guys, they started that.
Yeah, they did.
Turn of events for the singer-songwriter.
They did. But by the same token, I will tell you this, too. I've learned this. Since pandemic, everybody, particularly from Charlotte, that has an acoustic guitar is a songwriter, a singer-songwriter. I'm just saying, they all are.
Exactly right.
And it's like, just because you own a guitar and just because you own we'll say a pencil, but an iPad or a notes does not make you a songwriter. No. I mean, everybody has access to the same words, but no.
They don't all flow the same.
They don't, And there's there's songwriting associations that you can join. to teach you how to write the very same song everybody else is writing over and over again. You know?
You know, I met up a couple weeks ago. I met up with Dylan Marlowe. I don't know if you know him.
Don't.
He's kind of an emerging Nashville artist.
Okay.
He's on tour with Lee Brice and
Yeah.
Matt Steele.
Yeah.
He hit me up. I had a guitar vault for sale on Facebook, and he hit me up, wanted to buy it. So I met up with him, and I told him, I said, man, you got all this going on for you. He's from Statesboro, Georgia. I said, you got all this going on for you. What's the secret? I said, I've been trying, man, to break out and get into something, you know, get something going to do this thing full time. What's the secret? And every one of them that I've met says the same thing. Move to Nashville.
Yeah.
Move to Nashville. I've been to Nashville, and I can't see myself there. That's a cutthroat.
Oh boy, it is a cutthroat world.
You know, I watched a band. We were in Johnny Cash. What is it? Something in June. Johnny in June.
Oh yeah.
Johnny Cash's
Right.
bar up there.
Yeah.
And there was this girl. She had a band, and man, they were killing it. So I walked up to the stage, and she said, "You got a request?" I said, "Yeah, anything original." She looked at me and she said, "I'm sorry, I can't do that for you." I said, "Why?" I said, "I'll
Right,
tip
drop
you
money, yeah.
$12." She said, "The bar will shut us down."
Oh,
if you play
yeah.
one original song."
Yeah. I mean, there is
And that's sad.
That's because that's what the tourists come to see. You know, they want to see what's been done already rather than what's going to happen. You know.
How do those people break into the what's going to happen?
Well, I
That's
do.
where you're trying to get.
I do know how that works, though. It's kind of like with anything. We'll use the professional world, okay? It becomes who you know. Okay, I know you now. You know, we start hanging out. I made a connection with you. You know people I don't know. Luke knows people I don't know. I know people you guys don't know. You keep growing that, and it's called the good old boy network. You know, you got to. And here's the thing: I don't really like to hang out, but if I'm in Nashville, I got to go hang out just to do some hanging. Now, it's good when you're young, but when you get older, you know, your wife's going, "You're going to hang with those guys again?" "Oh, baby, you like this house we live in, don't you?" You know, I mean, this is what I do. You knew it when you got involved, you know, or when you're, if you do get lucky enough to say be a road musician, say you get a job playing with somebody, when you come home, you're not getting paid, so you got to go somewhere out there in Nashville and go play something, so your money keeps coming in. I mean, it's kind of a racket. You know?
It is, but it's a love too.
Oh, you have to do it. If you're ever doing music for anything but the love of the music and for the music yourself, you're gonna be badly disappointed. You know,
I've spent more money than I've made tenfold.
Well, you know the old saying about musicians: only people that'll put $10,000 worth of equipment in a $500 car and drive 200 miles to make $50.
$200 show.
Yeah, I mean it's true though. Yeah. It is
in
true.
a rainstorm.
Yeah, in a rainstorm. Yeah. So I mean, musicians like to play and want to play, and to a degree, sometimes that's their downfall. You know, if you were more like, "Oh, you want me to play?" You know. Well, you got to offer me something. I'm not going to do this for free. Yeah, and then what? They're all sitting over there. "Oh, hell yeah, you will. You know you will."
That's what I told Sam. She's like, "We're up early this morning." I said, "Well, if we wasn't doing it, if we wasn't playing here or going here, we'd be going somewhere else. Because I'm going to be doing it,
Well, that's the sad part is you get to be my age and you're still wanting to do it.
Sam's my wife.
Yeah. So that's the sad point is it never goes away. I retired from it like, Jesus, I don't know how many times, but it's kind of like the mafia. You can't really get out, I mean, so.
Music's my biggest outlet. It's my biggest form of expression, I guess you would say. If I have a bad day, I come home and I let it out through the guitar. If I have a good day, I do the same thing. Music
therapy.
Is a language for me that, I don't know, it carries farther than what I can speak.
It's therapy for me is what it is too a lot, I mean, music will like you when nobody else does. You know, they'll want to hang around with you when nobody else does. It kind of understands how you feel. Sometimes it punishes you, though, too, you know.
Well, and my wife tells me this. You know, musicians are strange. We're all strange a little bit. You know, we got a weird way about us at times.
All of them do. But, you know, it's really then there's weird upon weird within music business, too, because there's some that's even weirder than the common normal. Also, if you'll notice, too, musicians really have a harder time hanging out with non-musicians than they do with. They like to hang around musicians better than they like to hang around with normal people. That's kind of sad too, but I like musicians better than I like most people I meet.
Right.
You know, I don't know why that is, but I do.
Most of the time, for the most part, they're usually an easygoing group of folks.
And you usually got a good sense of humor
right.
too. You know, they're pretty funny.
Kind of got to.
Well, yeah. And you have to laugh at yourself a lot too.
Right.
You know, I mean, really.
That's right.
It's like, this has been fun. You want to play some stuff?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do some.